to the performance of important trusts in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under our deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Sergeant at Arms, you can ring the bell for 10 minutes.
Sure. Well, the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Honorable Gladys Boss, has directed the Sergeant at Arms to ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes, owing to the fact that at this particular juncture, the House lacks the requisite quorum to commence business this morning. And as we await for that directive person to Standing Orders number 34 to see if indeed the House will attain a quorum this morning, as well as the subsequent directives that may follow in the event the House fails to raise the quorum of 50 members. Allow me to take you through the businesses for consideration in the order paper this morning, where the House is also set to debate the Kenya Information and Communications Amendment Bill, this being National Assembly Bills number 52 of the year 2022. This is a bill by the member for GEM, Honorable Elisha Odhiambo, currently at the second stage of the bill, popularly known as the second reading. The Community Health Workers Bill, National Assembly Bills number 53 of the year 2022, is yet another bill lined up for debate this morning. And equally, members of the National Assembly this morning will also be debating the High Education Loans Board Amendment Bill, this being National Assembly Bills number 58 of the year 2022 by Honorable Joyce Kamene. Motion number 33 of the year 2023 pertains the supporting and promoting local fertilizer manufacturers industries in the country. This is a motion by Honorable Samuel Atandi. A member for Alego Usonga has listed in his motion that aware that Fertilizer and Animal Foodstuff Act of 2015 provides for regularization of fertilizer importation in the country, and further aware that the Fertilizer and Animal Foodstuffs Board regulates the fertilizer and animal foodstuffs industry. This includes the manufacture and production of fertilizer, and noting that the country currently relies heavily on imported fertilizer due to inadequate local production capacity, and further noting that local or low local production leads to high cost for farmers, reducing their profits and resulting in unhealthy reliance on imported fertilizer, and concerned that this scenario threatens the country's food security in the case of supply disruptions and discourages local production. Equally, recognizing that local fertilizer production could lead to supply disruptions and discourages local production. The mover of this motion seeks to have the National Assembly resolve that the national government, through the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock, supports and promotes local fertilizer manufacturing industries in investing in research and development to bolster the domestic fertilizer manufacturing sector. The national sensitization and support for combating sickle cell and hemophilia diseases in the country is motion number 26 of the year 2023, order number 13 in the order paper this morning. This motion is by Honorable Peter Nabulindo. Honorable Nabulindo seeks to have the National Assembly resolve that the national government, through the Ministry of Health and in conjunction with the county government, do conduct awareness and sensitization programs on sickle cell and hemophilia diseases and supports research and training for medical personnel on these two diseases, and equally do put in place measures for mandatory screening of newborn babies of sickle cell and hemophilia diseases in all the public health facilities in the country. And this is in order to create a database to guide funding and other interventions aimed at curbing the diseases and equally reducing the infant mortalities resulting from the diseases. Motion number 31 this morning of the year 2023 is in regards to the provision of appropriate access to markets in the country. This is a motion by Honorable Beatrice Kimei. Honorable Kimei seeks to have the National Assembly resolve that the government, through the Ministry of Roads and Transport, do develop a framework to ensure that where market centers exist along road developments, appropriate access is provided, including service lanes and access roads. This morning, we equally expect debates on order number 15, which is a motion number 35 of the year 2023 on government-to-government, popularly known as G2G model, to acquire and supply fertilizers to farmers at a subsidized cost. This is yet another motion somehow related to the motion by Honorable Member for Alego Usonga, Honorable Watandi, who equally has a motion on matters to do with fertilizer production. The member from Mbeere North, through this motion, Honorable Jeffrey Ruku, on motion on government-to-government model to acquire and supply fertilizers to farmers, is seeking to have the National Assembly resolve that the government, through the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development and its agencies, do adopt the government-to-government model in the acquisition and supply of fertilizer by identifying potential partners and countries that have surplus and quality fertilizers, and equally that the national government, through the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock and its agencies, equally adopt a comprehensive program for the government-to-government acquisition and distribution of fertilizers through, among others, the Kenya Farmers Association, popularly known as KFA, the Kenya Tea Development Agency, KTDA, the Coffee Board of Kenya, Kenya Planters Cooperative Union, the Kenya Grain Growers Cooperative Union, the Pyrethrum Board of Kenya, and this is for the increased agricultural productivity in the country. The member for Aldai, Honorable Marian Ketani, motion number 38 of the year 2023. Her motion is in regards to the development of measures to mitigate digital inclusion. The member for Aldai seeks to have the National Assembly resolve that the government, through the Ministry of Information, Communication and Digital Economy, formulates a policy to regulate internet billing by internet service providers by providing a metered billing of internet use based on matters consumption, and this is in order to mitigate exploitation and secure economic interest of internet users in the country. And according to the mover, this protection of internet users is in line with Article 46 of the Constitution, and equally that the government, through the Ministry of Information, Communication and Digital Economy, require that internet service providers do develop and deploy quality metered billing systems capable of monitoring customer usage and converting to readable details and creating invoices based on the consumption and aligning their metrics with the value of customers and with the value that customers get from various internet services. The House this morning is also set to consider a motion on establishment of a national policy to combat disrespectful childbirth practices in Kenya. This is a motion by member for Githunguri, Honorable Gathoni wa Mushomba. Away from the motions and the bills lined up for consideration this morning, pursuant to Standing Orders number 44, subsection 2C, a number of members of National Assembly will be requesting for statements this morning. Honorable Mumina Bonaya, the member for Isiolo County, will be requesting for a statement this morning on accident caused by a government vehicle in Isiolo County. The request for statement by Honorable Mumina Bonaya on the accident caused by a government vehicle in Isiolo County will be handled by the Departmental Committee on Matters Administration and Internal Security. School feeding program by the National Council for Nomadic Education, popularly known as NACONEC, is a request for statement this morning by Honorable Prota Sakunja, the Honorable Member for Loima. The request for statement in regards to school feeding program by the National Council for Nomadic Education will be handled by the Departmental Committee on Matters Education. And lastly, under order number, Standing Orders number 44, subsection 2C, Honorable Member Rael Kasiwai, the MP for West Pokot County, will be requesting for a statement this morning on the status of the construction of Bapelo Tot Marich Road in West Pokot County, and her request for statement will be handled by the Departmental Committee on Matters Transport and Infrastructure. We continue awaiting the House, that is the National Assembly, this morning to raise a quorum after the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly guided the Sergeant at Arms in line with the provisions of the Standing Orders to ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes. According to Standing Orders number 34 of the House, at such a time when the House is commencing business and there is no quorum present, the Speaker shall give a directive of 10 minutes, this being a leeway for members within the presence of Parliament to make their way into the chamber. That has happened this morning. And equally, upon the lapse of the 10 minutes, the Speaker may further give a provision of another 5 minutes, upon which, after the lapse of the 5 minutes given, and the House will not have raised the quorum, then the Speaker, again guided by the Standing Orders of the House, is forced to adjourn the sittings of the House until the next time when the House will be sitting. This being Wednesday morning, the House will equally be sitting in the afternoon. And we await for further directives from the chamber this morning, and a signal from the Sergeant at Arms with all indications that that quorum has been attained. But as we await for that directive to see if indeed the House will raise the number of 50 members required to commence business this morning, the Higher Education Loans Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 58 of the year 2022 by Honorable Joyce Kamene, is equally another bill lined up for debate this morning, where the members of the National Assembly are set to give their inputs in regards to the various amendments proposed in the Higher Education Loans Board Amendment Bill, a bill that seeks to streamline matters to do with higher education funding in the country. The National Assembly will be debating a motion this morning on the formulation of a land use policy on zoning of land for agriculture and built development. This is a motion by Westlands Member of Parliament, Honorable Tin Wanyoni. Honorable Tim Wanyonyi, in his motion, states that aware that land is a critical but limited a factor of production that supports human habitation and food production, and noting that agriculture is country's economic mainstay, and appreciating that the Central Bank of Kenya Monetary Policy Committee Agriculture Survey of 2022 estimated the contribution of the agricultural sector to the country's gross domestic product GDP to be 22% directly and 27% indirectly. This is through its linkages with other sectors, and further appreciating that the survey showed that the sector employs over 40% of Kenya's total population, and concerned that in the Land Reform Volume 3 publication, the Kenya Land Alliance estimated that only 17% of the country's landmass is classified as suitable for rain-fed agriculture, while the remainder is either semi-arid or arid, and further concerned that the country's agricultural productivity has been decreasing over the years, and equally cognizant of the fact that the decline in the agricultural productivity is particularly and partly attributable to the shrinking agricultural land due to unplanned settlements that encroach the agricultural land.
9:48 a.m. This House stands adjourned until today, 9th October 2020.